The state agency in charge of making sure marijuana dispensaries are not selling to children is now under fire. Two state senators say the Marijuana Enforcement Division is lax in its job. They say the agency conducted just 80 underage compliance checks all of last year. Now, by comparison, the Liquor Enforcement Division conducted 2,400 checks. Our political specialist, Sean Boyd, checking in with more. And Sean, parents are upset as well.
Hey, Jim, those parents point out that Amendment 64, which legalized recreational pot, said marijuana would be regulated similar to alcohol, but they say that's clearly not happening. They lobbied for a bill that would have increased underage compliance checks at dispensaries. It failed. So now the bill sponsors are asking for a state audit. Of more than 1,000 dispensaries in Colorado, just 80 were targeted for underage sting operations last year, 7 of them in Longmont, and investigators say 4 of the 7 sold to kids who admitted they were underage.
We should really just be doing everything we can to keep it out of the hands of youth.
Dawn Reinfeld heads up a parent group called Blue Rising Together, which pushed for a bill to increase compliance checks after filing an open records request that found while the Liquor Enforcement Division has half as many full-time employees as marijuana enforcement, it did 25 times more underage compliance checks last year. State Senators Chris Hansen and Kevin Priola sponsored the bill that would have required at least 1 check per dispensary per year.
It wasn't a bill that was anti-industry. It wasn't a bill that was trying to come after any particular group. It's just saying to the Department of Revenue that runs the Marijuana Enforcement Division, please do your job.
While the Marijuana Enforcement Division insists it is doing its job, Hansen and Priola say the numbers don't back it up. Before COVID in 2019, the division did about 600 underage checks. This year, it's on track for just 50. Compliance, too, is down from 97% to 95%. With 30 million sales last year, that means up to 1.5 million were to minors. Priola says if the division was doing its job, it shouldn't have requested $1 million to comply with the bill.
That seemed duplicitous in itself, in that you're saying you're already doing this and we don't need a piece of legislation. But if it does happen to pass and get into law, we need over $1 million to help us do what we're already doing.
Reinfeld went a step further.
It seems to me that they're not prioritizing keeping things out of the hands of kids. They're prioritizing being a business development arm for the state and for the industry.
Reinfeld says parents are also concerned about a lack of transparency at the Marijuana Enforcement Division. A spokesperson for the division told me they're working on updates to their website and will be including more data in their annual reports. She says they're also recruiting more underage buyers for sting operations. All but one lawmaker on the Senate Health Committee voted against the bill requiring more compliance checks, which is why Hansen and Priola are now asking the state auditor to investigate. The Legislative Audit Committee will need to approve that request first. Jim?
All right, Sean.